Hey guys, welcome back to the League Review. Here we have the 1100s match, and here we also have returning player Rishi, RBD21, who sent me two replays many months ago, and I'm now getting around to both. So yeah, here's another match from Rishi here. So as he said last time, Rishi's rating was about 1060 something. And other Barry I checked, he's about 1150. So I'm not exactly sure again what the ratings were at the time, but seems to be pretty evenly matched. Maybe other Barry having a bit of a lead now in terms of points, global league points. So okay, the map here is at last. This one I've played a few times. Actually, I've played it in live at least once. Um, but it's a fun map. It just feels like the center is kind of volatile, and then there's for some reason a lot of people are like pretty convinced that the airports were like you trade the airports pretty often. So like red ends up taking the bottom right airport eventually after a fight, and blue takes the upper left airport eventually after a fight. In the games I've played, it hasn't really happened, but we'll take a look out to see if we see that airport base trade in this game. Um, so as for the COs, we have Kendall and Drake. Let's see. So Kendall has there are like a few cities in important places. I think especially in this kind of area by the lab, Kendall can do some pretty nasty things. But in the very center, it's a little bit easy on the cities. You're typically not going to push as blue all the way this deep to these cities. So I think that, yeah, Kendall will probably excel the most in this area by the lab. So Drake, on the other hand, the B-copter build is pretty nice on this map. So his B-copters, of course, are a lot weaker. Um, so it'll be a little bit, it won't be quite as nice there. I would say that games are also somewhat volatile on this map. It's kind of hard to stall for going for massive super CO powers. So that idea might be hard to pull off, but yeah, Kendall Drake is always kind of a fun matchup to see how see if Drake can hang in there, and then if he does get to late game, he can be a real terror. So let's get into it. Okay, going for port first capture, which makes a lot of sense. There's a chain that goes capture here, capture here, capture here, which is pretty valuable. Okay, both players go for that. Interesting. Okay, so actually recon first from Drake. You don't see that too often. Okay, so obviously the first thing to see is that there's like a lot of roads here, so the recon can move really quickly. Um, I think the idea could be trying to deny the airport capture, or just like sitting in this area in general and like threatening a lot of territory at once that one tank won't be able to cover. Ho 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 ho. Okay. So other Barry actually kind of, I don't know if they didn't see the recon or they just thought like, okay, well, recon is cool, but I'm gonna build an APC anyways. So like this is kind of like a rock beats whatever it does, scissors, yeah, kind of a rock beats scissors type scenario where the recon is kind of like a unit that is built to oftentimes counter the APC openers. So like kind of going scissors into rock is kind of crazy, but We'll see how good this APC opener idea is. Because, yeah, it looks like Otherberry actually won't be able to afford a tank next turn. Okay, so it's the back moving. Okay, I'm not actually sure this does anything. So the thing is, like, this infantry had a couple other options to immediately start capturing the next turn. It could go APC boost, um, boost onto this mountain, and then start capturing there with this infantry going forward. Or it could just move straight right without getting in the APC and then start capturing this a turn faster than it would. Sorry, it's actually the same turn, so that wouldn't really boost anything. Okay, so the APC doesn't do nothing in terms of accelerating that infantry. Wait, hold on. So I see. So the recon does cover this city from the right, so capturing there is. So the recon's already delayed one property. So no tank. Okay, actually another recon. Okay. So kind of the way I think about recon answering recon is so recons do so little damage to each other that if the first recon's job is to disrupt your capture phase sort of in your territory, then if you try to respond by hitting that recon with a recon, you're not actually getting anywhere because like you're doing damage at such a low rate that the recon still gets to interrupt like 3 captures or more. So if you're building a recon facing a recon, the way I think about it is like you're kind of committed to the idea that like I'm gonna like damage race you on your side of the map while you try to damage race me on the other side of the map. Like try to just dish out as much damage as possible. So it's not really a response to the recon in the sense of like being able to hit it. It's kind of like I'm gonna build this recon with the intent of doing the same thing you're doing to me. Wait, did he forget to capture with his infantry? Okay, never mind. Never mind. Okay, so that was the recon turn. Okay, I think we just saw blue. So, okay, here's the first tank responding to the recon. So, red fire definitely needs a recon. I mean, a tank. That much is for sure. The recon can park on the airport this turn, which is kind of nice. Yep, exactly. This red recon kind of feels a little bit late to the party, since the tank can hit anywhere that the recon can go, and like everything's going to be captured pretty soon on the right hand side. So yeah, the red fire recon just feels kind of like it was a couple turns late. Okay, going for the interrupt on the city anyways, but it's gonna cost it the entire recon. I think. Well, actually, it's Drake from city, not Kendall. Um, oh, I see. It was recon from lab, so it did a lot more damage. Okay, I'm not sure why this APC went over here instead of gearing up to load the next infantry. It doesn't really block for this infantry, so it's kind of not a very active move. Okay, so actually this recon will interrupt that one capture by 2 turns, and then also probably get the interrupt here as well. So it'll actually do 3k worth of damage, so that's actually pretty significant. But yeah, not really compared to the amount of damage that this recon has done. Yeah, I mean, this recon could actually just go back and hit this infantry here, and then you've delayed these 2 properties by, as well as this other, and delayed this one by a turn, and delayed the airport by like several turns. So this recon's definitely earned itself back. In terms of value, like value and damage done. And yeah, I guess killing the airport is fine too. There's kind of, I guess the tank hits from the city and then you die. I sort of like kind of a detail, but I sort of like attacking this infantry because then this guy is like still nowhere near close to capturing, and there's nobody in the vicinity of the city in the far upper left. And there's only this guy, and he'll have to like deal with a very slow capture too. And I think the recon actually it would die to the tank hit on a road. Uh, but it's just like doing more infantry chip along the way. But it's no big deal. I think both ways work. Okay, so here comes the double artillery from Drake. And it makes sense in his overall game plan. And then, yeah, Kendall investing heavily in tanks, sort of trying to do a lot more, dish out a lot more damage quickly. Okay, so this is a pretty nice capture idea here where you capture the opponent's city while blocking with 2 vehicles so that these 2 infantry have no way of interrupting. That's super nice. Picking up a like sometimes we call it flipping a city where you like flip it from your opponent's city to your city. That's a pretty valuable type of capture if you can get it. So with this tank move, I sort of like getting the free hit on this infantry here. Um, I don't really see a reason not to do that. Okay, so picking up the KOs down here is kind of big because it like really softens up this area. So we could be looking at one of these airport swaps that Fire Red could initiate. Oh, I see. The tank is on a silo. Okay. Although you could argue that it's better to initiate with this tank here. So definitely an anti-air here to deal with the B-copter that may be coming out. Yeah, exactly. Good job. So yeah, this is the kind of game state that results in the airport flipping. Um, it's just like a lot of units being built up in this pocket right here, and then you can either like clash in the center or you can go run grab an airport. And grabbing the airport is typically it's just kind of like an easy thing to do oftentimes. Yeah, in the games where I don't do that, I bring this army down and I like park it right here, and then you kind of like protect your airport. Um, just because like it can be pretty scary when you're in the midst of flipping airports because um, like the idea of stealth can really um, throw the game off if you don't have an airport or if your opponent doesn't have an airport. Um, and there's just like a lot of trading, which is something that Drake doesn't always appreciate. So, okay, this tank here is just going to sit on the city, which looks like it's okay. And there's an artillery pointing at the other artillery. Okay, spicy position here. We'll see what happens. Okay, so red is really kind of going all out here. Okay, there's like a lot going on. Okay, so this tank like ran onto the silo for a free hit on an infantry, but it's gonna get hit by tank and mech. Um, like this, so red also double attacks or like kind of overloads this artillery, putting both the tank and the artillery in range. But I think you just hit the artillery and then both tanks hit the tank. Anti-air comes up, shuts down the airport, and then fire also puts pressure on the HQ, but you just put an infantry on the HQ and then there's no threat anymore. So it looks like red fire kind of went for like a all out aggressive attack, but I don't think any of it works. Okay, the mech attacks in the wrong square. Unless that happens. Okay, so one of the tanks goes back. Okay, I think I would have preferred to see the back tank get involved so that both of these tanks up here can KO this tank, or at least bring it. I guess it would KO with the help of the infantry, probably. Yeah, this seems I mean, I know you're Drake, but I think this is kind of low hanging fruit that you could have just taken for free. And also, this retreat seems like a little bit too far of a retreat. You can just kind of like park a little further forward and you'd be fine. Okay, so Drake built a medium tank last turn, which looks great as a response to this medium tank. Um, so one of the issues with this anti-air move, kind of like going into this corner, is it doesn't threaten the airport. So now red can build a second B-copter, and now it's like, oh shoot, now I need a second, or now I need a second anti-air. And now like your control of the air, your air control in the upper left is kind of slipping a little bit. So if you would have put the anti-air, so if Rishi would have put the anti-air a little bit further forward, like up into this area, then it would have prevented this aggressive move by the beecopter, and it would have also prevented the beecopter build here. Um, and it was put there to prevent the infantry capturing the HQ, but this infantry could have been on top of the HQ instead. So okay, so Richie like really going defensive with the artillery, like really really defensive. Ooh, okay. Okay, so now Rishi kind of. Oh, I see. It's backed up by the mech and the beecopter. Okay, so you're kind of overloading this tank where it wants to hit the tank from the city, and it also wants to hit this tank on the plains. Um, so you kind of get, yeah, and you do two free hits at the same time. Okay, kind of risky, but we'll see what happens. Maybe this one works out. Oh, Airborne Blight. Ouch. Capturing the city under artillery fire just seems really risky. These guys are both like alternating between hard stall and big time aggression. Yeah, and then other Barry makes an interesting move, sort of attacking in here into this medium tank and then moving his own medium tank really far away so it doesn't really cover against the enemy medium tank. I mean, the cool thing about the attack is you're overloading the anti-air by attacking the beecopter. Um, I think you just build another anti-air and then free shot with the medium tank, free artillery shot, and you get to kill like 4 units here. We're also getting pretty close to Drake's Super CO power. Oh wait, hold on, hold on. We just saw a sack here. Okay, so sack the beecopter, sack the mech, and then sacking the mech actually charges it. So I think that's worth it because the mech is kind of dead in the water. It's not doing anything productive. All the vehicles are on the other side of the map, so sacking it is not so expensive. And then Super CO power gets up a bit in unit value, which is nice. Although unit count is still a bit is still suffering a bit. I think I would have rather seen the infantry on the mountain kill the infantry on the plains, just so you can bring the unit count back in your favor a bit. I keep referring to Rishi in the second person because he referred to me in first person. You? I actually don't know which person it is. Uh, I keep saying you for Rishi just because he sent me this replay, but yeah, I hope that's not too annoying. Okay, so yeah, this looks like a pretty great turn. Looks like it pretty well clobbers a lot of this attack. Um, the sack to get there was not too difficult. You could imagine a much better Typhoon, perhaps if it was held, but like it's also not too bad just sacking to get it immediately and then you know getting ready to charge the next one. Yeah, actually, this beecopter could have been trapped potentially if there was an infantry that stayed on the mountain. Okay, so here we have Rishi like pretty far ahead in unit value, um, but pretty far down in unit count. However, there's like a bunch of really low HP units that Rishi has the opportunity to start picking off pretty soon. So I think that Rishi is pretty much in the driver's seat. Okay, I kind of don't understand this. Okay, so the anti-air move makes sense. The artillery move seems a little bit feels like it could be a tile forward. And then moving this tank back, I don't really see what the point of that is because you can just start attacking and taking free infantry kills here. You can just kill like 3 infantry for free, I think, because yeah, the medium tank is on a comm tower, so it's not going to heal. So this medium tank is completely free to just do whatever. Go attack things. Yeah, I'm all right with definitely building a beacopter here to sort of reinforce the position so you don't lose the airport, which is kind of which would be pretty bad because you're trying to like stall out and not have too many dynamic things happening. Okay, so other berry gets really aggressive here, goes like ultra beacopter spam mode. Unfortunately, it's just free hits for the anti-air, so it looks like just about everything in the upper left is going to get cleared out soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, yeah, I really wish these artillery were more aggressively placed so that you could do the medium tank hitting the medium tank. But I don't, unless you're going to waste an anti air move on killing the infantry, then I don't see how the medium tank is really going to hit the other medium tank. And I think you kind of do need to hit beacopters next turn. Okay, I guess 2 vehicles would do it. It's just it puts like a mech in like a tank in range of a mech, which is kind of scary. So I definitely called it wrong before, but this looks pretty convincing for blue here. I don't really, I mean, like just look at the unit value difference; it's pretty substantial. Urban Blight is definitely needed to make a difference. And the one thing too is blue sort of stepped outside the comfort zone of this artillery, so it is a little bit. Oh my god, my phone is driving me crazy. Please stop texting me, world. Okay. Um. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so moves. Okay, resign. Yeah. Yeah, the unit value difference is just way too much. I think yeah, Kendall didn't really get the advantage that she needed from her CO powers early on to cope with the Drake super. So yeah, if Kendall is not winning by the time that the super comes out, she really doesn't stand a chance. So yeah. Thanks Rishi for sending me in those 2 replays. Yeah. If anybody else wants to send in replays, you can go ahead and find me on Advanced Wars by web, just DPSI. Um, yeah, or find me on Discord. That would work too. So yeah, that was the 1100s, and stick around next time for the 1200s.